Hello, my name is Delaney Davis. This is my oral habilitation video demonstrating some auditory verbal strategies. So, today we're going to talk about what are auditory verbal strategies, what they look like, how to use them in therapy or at home. Our activity today is pretend play with food and our dog. I chose this activity because it's really functional language. You know, we're talking about eating and different kinds of food, and you can also use, some pronoun stuff in there too. So we're gonna do that. And also this, pretend play with food is really easy for parents and clinicians to be able to easily integrate it into snack time or meal time as well. Okay, so first we're gonna talk about an auditory sandwich. An auditory sandwich is whenever you provide just the auditory input first by itself, and then you're going to follow it up with a visual or tactile cue if needed, and then you're going to follow it right back up again with just the auditory input. So it might look like this. The dog is eating corn. The dog is eating corn. Oh, he is eating corn. The dog is eating corn. The dog is eating corn. And so it's really important that we say it 2-3 times because we really want to support the comprehension of that target word. And we want them to rely on their auditory skills, not just, the object or a sign, or pointing to, the object. So we really want them to rely on the auditory skills, but depending on, their level, they may need the support, and so that's why we provide the auditory input, give a visual if needed, and then we'll take it away because we really want them to build those auditory skills. So not only are we wanting the child to learn the target word, but they are also picking up on things that are greater than just listening skills aside from the target word. They're also picking up on something that we call suprasegmentals. Suprasegmentals is the pitch and intonation of spoken language. We often see children who have a hearing difference struggle with, understanding and using suprasegmentals, increasing their, varying pitch, intonation. And so someone that struggles with suprasegmentals may have a really flat pitch. So it might sound like the dog is eating. And we've all had that one professor or someone we're communicating with who has a really flat pitch, kind of monotone, and it's really hard to pay attention. It's not engaging, right? So that's why we really want to focus on highlighting. I won't touch on acoustic highlighting, but we really want to talk about kind of that various pitch in our intonation, so that our child is attentive to it, but also is picking up on that target word too. Okay, so it might sound like a flat pitch, might sound like the dog is eating, whereas if I say it with really high, cool pitch, I might say the dog is eating, or I can sound like the dog is eating. And so it's really easy for the kid to hear that varying pitch, and we can really focus on that target word. And so that's what we call acoustic highlighting. Acoustic highlighting is whenever you're going to, change the volume or the duration of that word, and you're really emphasizing that target word. For example, if I want to change the volume, I might say, the dog is eating corn. 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 And so I'm trying to, that last target word, corn, is emphasized, my volume is higher. I might be leaning in and kind of let them know, like, this is the important word here. And I can also, change my intonation by stretching out the word. So it might look like this. The dog is eating corn. 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 So we can do it a couple of different ways. So that's acoustic highlighting as well as an auditory sandwich, really kind of connecting those two together providing the auditory input, and then giving, you know, a cue like a gesture, or providing the object or the sign for it if that's their mode of communication. And then we're also going to emphasize that target word too. And yeah, so I'll model it one more time. The dog is eating corn. 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 And so again, that's our auditory sandwich and acoustic highlighting as well. Okay, so another strategy that we're going to talk about today is the perception production loop. The perception production loop is simply having the child repeat what they hear. So it might look like this. The dog is eating corn. Your turn. And then the child will repeat what they hear. The dog is eating corn. And then sometimes with deaf and hard of hearing children, you know, they might say what, or huh, or I didn't hear you. Can you say that again? And so instead of repeating exactly what we said, we're going to say, well, what did you hear? And so when you ask, what do you hear, it helps the parent or the clinician understand and get a little bit more information about what the child is struggling with. Is there a target sound they didn't hear? Is there a specific phoneme or sound that they didn't hear? And so that always gives us a little bit more input as to what they're struggling with and how to best support them. So I want to demonstrate one more time all of our auditory strategies together. And yeah, okay. The dog is eating corn. 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 Your turn. The dog is eating corn. Yeah, the dog is eating corn. And so what I just did there was I used the auditory sandwich. I gave them the auditory input first without the cue. And then I provided the cue. And I showed them the dog is eating the corn. And then I said it again. The dog is eating corn without the visual. And I was really using the acoustic highlighting. I was really focusing on increasing my volume for that word, or like, you know, giving kind of like expectant look a little bit. The dog is eating corn. You know, I'm gonna look kind of lean in a little bit. I'm gonna raise my eyebrows. And that's how they're looking at my facial expressions and my body language, and they're tuning into, oh, this is important, right? This is the word that she's focusing on. And then at the very end, I asked, okay, your turn. And so I want them to be able to hear me, and then also want them to be able to produce it too. And again, that really helps clinicians or parents really understand what the kid is struggling with, and so that we can best support them moving forward. So yeah, an auditory sandwich is a really important strategy because, again, it helps deaf or hard of hearing children rely on their hearing and listening skills to develop and learn spoken language, and also learn and tune into those auditory patterns like rate of speech, rhythm, intonation, right? So that's my video. Oh, you can also vary these different examples that I gave. You can vary them depending on the level of communication, right? So if we just need to do, you know, word level, we can say corn, corn. The dog is eating corn, corn. So you can say it with just the word level, or you can move it to phrase, sentence level. You can also use more complex sentences. You can also add a couple more sentences. So you can really, you know, kind of alter it to and individualize it to the child. And yeah, okay. Bye. Thanks for watching.